Hey everybody, so let's talk about the purchase process within USM. So one of the things that I added to this system that I wanted to be almost front and center is, as you know, when you're doing repairs, you're working on people's devices, even if you're just going on site, you find out that you need to order parts to to complete the repair. So, well, let's take a look at what that might look like. So, we just created a work order for a check-in device for Maya, and her computer is not booting to Windows. Well, we find out we've checked it in, we've done diagnostics, and our technician has determined that it needs a new hard drive. So, you know, we talk to the customer, we give them, the quote for the repair. Customer's okayed it, so now it's time to get the part ordered. So, in your shop, you may or may not have given your technicians direct access to your vendors to place orders. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. It also might make sense to appoint one particular person to handle all the orders for that particular shop location. Again, the basis of this whole piece of software is customization and flexibility. So you do what you want to do. You don't even have to use the purchasing system, but let's say that we do. And so in this case, if I'm the technician, right, and I'm looking at the work order, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a purchase order. We've already said, it's a 256, gigabyte SATA SSD um, from, I don't know, Mobile Centrics, because they have them. But it could also be eBay or wherever else you're ordering. This is just a description. I would require my techs to go as far as including a direct link, to the product. Because if the technician isn't the one placing the order, so this is the assumption we're making in this video, in this example, is the technician is not who's actually placing the order. They're putting the order into the system. Well, anyway, so 256 gig SATA SSD. Um, any payment terms. So again, these are purchase orders, and so you'll use. So if you're not familiar with purchase orders, these are also useful for working with contractors for work, and so a lot of these fields just for a parts order on a bench repair might not make sense, but terms are immediate in this case. If you have a particular tech, so again, techs have a tech ID, just like everything has an ID in the system, and so that tech ID is actually going to be important for the tech to know. So tech ID one, um, any sort of contacts, but yeah. So in this case, we'll just leave most of these filled, and so it doesn't ask for a price yet. You add that after you create the purchase order. So this is the first purchase order added to this demo install. We're going to add a new item. So 256 gig SSD SATA, Um, so in this one, you would give way more information for it. So, like, and this isn't me trying to like shill for Mobile Centrics. It's just you're probably familiar with them, and yeah. So I think they are not under accessories, but they sell Apollo SSDs. Or at least they did prior to me recording the video. Let's find out if they still do. Alright, fantastic. They do. And so this is the one that they're, you know. So what I would say is paste the link so the person purchasing can see it. Um, if you're pasting a link, Again, this is an internal process. If your purchaser wants your text to be giving more than just a link or no link or whatever, this is on you. So in this fictitious example, we want a link 256 customer okay with spending more on a larger drive if need be. So because that was that, and say we just quoted them, I don't know, between 40 and $60. So we're charging them, but we told them that it was, whatever, right? And so in this case, we'll just call it at $20 because they're shipping, and I don't know what you're paying for shipping or how you calculate average shipping per item. Again, that's up to you, but we'll just say it was $20 price per item. And so now we have a purchase order created, and so the total value of this purchase order is now $20. After that, the technician is done. Now, here's what you're going to do. If you're the purchaser, you're going to go into purchase orders, and you're going to go in. So one of the lovely things about this is notice the status field. I can't really show you it as well as I'd like because there's not enough sample data yet, but you can absolutely hit status. You're going to want it like and not new, but you hit apply filters, and now it's showing if I had more fields here and this was different. So if you're a purchaser and you're looking to see what's new because you're going to want to change this field, and anything else, so you can track dates or anything. But anyway, so your purchaser, you look this up, you see here's a purchase order for the part. Wonderful. It's PO1, and we know that it's for a particular work order. It's work order 2, so we'll open up the work order. And now we're going to go over to Mobile Centrics. We're going to add this to the cart. We're going to keep going through everything for Mobile Centrics until you're done. And then you're going to place the order. Mobile Centrics or wherever would give you an order number. So we'll just pretend that that's happened. So the first thing, so we can see that this purchase order is status new. But you're going to go over to shipments. So either way you would track all of those things, order number, blah, blah, blah. You usually don't get a tracking number right away, but again, if you've got a dedicated person for purchasing, you can have them add that, FedEx, right? That's who's cool, right? Anyway, so you track ship status, and that's where we start. So again, so you go under order management, and you go under orders, and this is actually where you would do most of the stuff, not necessarily from the work order, but every one of these things under order management, you have shipments, you have vendors, you have orders, items, and services. So if there's things that you are adding to the work order as an item or service, then you can add that to the work order. So so this would be Mobile Centrics, whatever. So that's the internal order. So again, we're going to go back over to shipments where I messed up, and we know that's our internal number is order 1. So now if you're looking at the work order and you're the technician, say now, or your customer service or whatever, and your customer is calling and asking, hey, when's that part supposed to come in? You can actually go over to shipments and see if there's a shipment related to it, because here's the logic. Um, One purchase order per work order, but you might have multiple work orders, you might have multiple POs associated with a particular shipment. So, again, this is all based on how you want to do this as a company, how fine grained you want to be. If you really just don't want to go through the chain of things that I just described, and you just flat out want to add shipments every single time there's an order and make it more direct with fewer steps, that might make sense if you're a much smaller shop, or maybe you're a one man show. And yeah, I don't really care. It's just up to you how you want to implement this. But it was designed so very specifically, if you don't want your technicians to have direct access to your vendors. So that's up to you. But either way, that's how the ordering process, the top down view of that. Obviously, then if you receive said shipment, you get, so this is the other part that's really important to talk about. So you get a package, you get a box, you don't know what's in it, you don't know anything about it. And if you've logged it in Uranus, you can actually do a search. I'll show you the search. So you can do a search. So we have from the home page, well, I don't think the demo user's set up for this. There's actually normally a super search, but that's okay, because if you're going to go under shipments and you're going to do a search, and you want to search it, if we had more things here, then that tracking number shows up. So you're looking at this box, it's now received, you can save that, but it says, the individual order that it's associated with. So you can look at that. You can see what purchase orders it's associated with. No purchase orders are associated with it. But, once you find that purchase order, it will link, eventually it leads you to the work order. So you don't have to ever ask somebody else, hey, I got some aftermarket iPhone 11 screens in, who needs those? You don't have that conversation. You can search the database and it will tell you, oh yeah, so and so needed this for this repair, so and so needed it for this other repair, without asking a single question to a human. If everybody is doing their job and using the system's telling you what's supposed to be. So I hope that helps. I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you on the next one.